computer. Okay. So first question, what, also known as an operating cycle, is the movement of cash arising from business functions to inventories, to receivables, and back to cash when output are sold. So Natasha?
I just figured out.
This is a cash cycle.
Cash cycle. Okay, that's correct. Okay. Second, it is a what where all costs of a corporation are recovered when output is sold. Rob?
For this one, a self-liquidating cycle.
Yeah, that's correct. Next, what is the practice of underestimating revenue and overestimating costs to make what less challenging? Muhammad?
Budgetary slack.
Okay. And the second?
Oh, and the second one, budget constraints.
Okay, very good. That's correct. So this is what happened is when we are making a budget. So basically the person who are responsible for the budget, sometimes they are held responsible for achieving the target, okay? So they want to create some slack rooms for themselves, right? So when they are trying to set up a goal, they try to keep the target as low as possible, right? So they can underestimate revenue, overestimate cost, so that the net income will be lower, right? If they are able to do it better, then they achieve the target, right? This is called a budgetary slack, okay? So the managers intentionally try to create some rooms for themselves, right? So that they can achieve the target more easily, right? Okay, so next one, once the corporate budget is produced, all managers make a commitment to reach budget targets. They're responsible for what that must be at all below the budget constraint during each reporting time period. Okay, so Yuchachu?
Controllable cost. Controllable cost.
Yeah, so please raise hand. Yeah, I don't know who would answer the question. Yuchachu?
Controllable cost.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, next one.
Can you hear me?
Some companies produce a what that adds to as a reporting time period as one is completed. Samarin?
That would be rolling budget.
Okay, rolling budget, that's correct. Okay, next is the last, okay? So an investment affects the flow in and out of cash, either to make the investment or to pay to finance it, okay? So you understand in 2100, the financial accounting, right? When you talk about the investment activities, you are talking about investment on the long-term asset or yeah, that's basically what it is, right? Investment on a long-term asset, okay? But here, the investment budget, they also include the financing activities, okay? Okay, so in 2400, if you still remember, I hope, okay? So we talked about the budget, right? We talked about budget. And there is a sequence, right? There is a sequence in terms of which budget you should do first, okay? So my question here is, when we try to prepare a budget, okay, a series of budgets, right? Which budget we should prepare first? AJ? Which, Kate?
I think sales budget.
Yeah, that's correct. So you always start with the sales budget, okay? And then what's the second budget? Does anyone know? Still remember? What's the second budget? After you've done the sales budget, what's the next one? Lily.
Production budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. Thank you. Okay, what's the next one? Okay, so sales budget, and then you do production budget. What's the next one? Giovanni? Giovanni? Giovanni?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's the next budget? So first the sales, production, what's the next? Okay, June. June?
Yep. Direct material usage.
Yeah, so now you are done with the production budget. You are dealing with direct materials. Okay, and then what's the next? AJ?
Is it cost of goods sold budget?
Well, you finish the direct materials, right? Think about it on the same level. What else you have to deal with? Okay.
Direct labor budget.
Alexandra?
Direct manufacturing labor budget.
Okay, labor budget, yeah. Okay. Hayden?
Overhead budget.
Overhead budget. Okay, very good. Okay, so that's the sequence. We have to follow this sequence. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so now let's take a look at this question. Okay, let's take a look at this question. This is our second question. Okay, the ABC company expect 2022 sales of 145,000 unit of serving trays. ABC's beginning inventory for 2022 is 11,500 trays. The target ending inventory is 16,500. Okay, so the question is to compute the number of trays budgeted for production in 2022. Okay, so this is kind of like the production budget. Okay, this is the production budget. Okay, so to know this production budget, okay, how much we should produce, right? That's a very good question, right? We should have an idea how much we should produce to meet the sales target, right? And then you can see, do we have that capacity to make that production, right? Okay, so what should we do? So let's use the inventory T account, okay? So the tray inventory, okay, tray inventory. So inventory account is asset, okay? On the left side is debit, the right side is credit, okay? So inventory account has a normal debit balance, okay? So you have an opening balance, and the opening balance is the beginning inventory, which is 11,500, okay? And then, okay, if you make the production, that will increase your inventory, right? You have more stuff in your inventory. So you are going to add to the left side, right? The production will be to the left side. You debit your inventory to increase the inventory level. Okay, and then when you sold this trays, that will reduce your inventory. You should put it to the credit side. Okay, so then the sales 145,000 is going to be on the right side of the T account. That's a credit. Okay, so now you have an ending balance, and we know the ending balance is 16,500. Okay, so just from this graph, right, you should set up your equation. The equation should be your opening, okay, plus the budgeted production. Together, this would be the total inventory available for sale, right? The total goods available for sale. And then suppose you sold 145,000, you minus 147,000, and you should reach the target, which is 16,500. So this is how we set up the equation. So when you reorganize this equation, you only leave X on the left side, okay? So your X equals ending balance minus beginning balance plus sales, okay? So the result is 150,000 units. So this is how much you want to produce. Why? First of all, you have to meet, okay? You have to meet that 145,000 sales, okay? In addition, okay, you need to increase your inventory balance by 5,000 from 11,500 to 16,500, right? So you have to have the two components. So 145,000 plus 5,000, that's the 150,000, okay? So if this makes sense, please give me a sum up. 1, 2, 3, go.
I had one question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so so I actually did it a different way, but I got the same answer though.
Oh, that's fine.
150,000.
Yeah, that's fine. You are using the
That's
same
fine?
equation.
Okay.
So you are using
okay.
so the ending balance plus sales, right? That's also the total goods available, and then you minus beginning balance. So that's exactly the same.
Correct. That's what I did. Yep.
Yeah, that's this equation, right? But I'm showing you in a different way in the T account.
Okay.
Setup.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so yeah, I think you guys are pretty comfortable with this. So now let's do a second one. So remember, this is the finished goods, right? The tree is the finished goods, right? It's not materials for that business, right? So in this case, we are dealing with the materials project, okay? Materials project. When you do production project, which inventory do you use? Do you use finished goods inventory or you use materials inventory? Muhammad, oh no, okay. So when you do the production project, which inventory do you use? Do you use material inventory or you use finished goods inventory?
Finished goods inventory.
Okay, that's correct. Okay, so make sure you are clear on that. Yeah. Okay.
Can I
now-
Sorry, I forgot to raise my hand.
for a second. I don't know if it's just me, but somebody said in the comment, you keep cutting out.
Yep. That's also happening for me as well.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. Just give me 1 second.
Same for me as well.
Okay, so what is happening here?
I'm happy you guys said it because I thought it was only me.
Yeah, I thought it was my internet as well.
Okay, just give me 1 second. How can I get out of this? Okay. Okay, that's probably why. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can hear
Is that better?
For
For
now.
now, yes, it is.
We will see.
Yeah, I'm
We'll
sorry.
see in 5 minutes.
Okay. No, you can, okay, good. Okay, so now let's do a material project, right? This is a production project, right? We are figuring out what is production. So now let's do a material project, right? What would be different between the material inventory versus product inventory, okay? So one thing would be the unit, right? So when you say a finished goods inventory, you would count units, right? In terms of quantity, you would say how many units of the goods, right? But for materials, right? When you are trying to talk about these materials, that unit will be quite different, right? Depending on what are the materials, right? So if, let's say, it's some materials measured by weight, right? It could be pound, right? Kilograms, right? It could be also some other materials you counted by pieces, right? Or maybe there are some other maybe liquid materials, right? So then you use volume, right? So this is something you want to be careful, right? Because when you think about the materials inventory versus the finished goods inventory, right? Materials inventory only have materials, right? That's just that obvious, right? But the finished goods inventories, will contain not only materials, right? Because it's going to contain all the product cost. So that including materials, labor, overhead, right? And also, it's when you convert materials, it's not always 1-1, right? It's not always like 1 kilogram materials will help you produce 1 unit of finished goods. It could be 3 kilograms. It could be 5 kilograms, right? So when you do the calculations, you just have to be careful, right? Just to differentiate the between the two different inventories, right? Okay, so this is some place students often got mixed up. Okay, so just be careful. So how is the internet now? Is that good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let me know right away. Okay, if anything happens again. So let's do this one. Okay, I'm going to move this one. Just give me 1 second. Okay, move down a little bit. So the wine producing company, Langley Vineyard, expects to produce 2.4 million bottles in 2022. Langley purchases empty glass bottles from a reliable supplier. The target ending inventory of such bottles, the target ending inventory is 75,000. The beginning inventory is 25,000. For simplicity, ignore loss due to breakage. Compute the number of bottles to be purchased, okay, to be purchased. So again, I want to also emphasize another difference, right? So purchased is different than used, okay? So think about the materials inventory, okay? The amount of purchase does not necessarily equal to the amount of usage, right? Because you have inventory, right? Fluctuate there, okay? So that's something very, very important too. Okay, so here we are going to look at a bottle inventory, okay? You let me know, raise your hand. Let me know what should I do first to calculate. Just follow the same process. Rin? You are muted, Rin. I cannot hear you. No, so I will give you time to fix that. Inga?
The beginning inventory,
Yeah, and how much is that?
25,000.
25,000, very good. Okay, what's the next? Send it? What's the next?
For next, so first we have beginning balance, then the production that we're gonna do. We're gonna
Do you
enter,
produce the bottles?
oh, sorry, the what goes into it, so the wine.
Yeah, I want to hear the key word. You don't produce it. You are not manufacturing the bottles. Then what are you gonna do?
Packaging or
It's another P word,
Okay, another
right?
keyword.
Is it purchase?
Yeah, so you are purchase, right? You either manufacture it or you purchase it, right? So here you want to know, you want to just put here the budget unit of bottle to be purchased, right? On the other side, okay, what is on the other side? How much you're gonna use it? How much materials will be used? Do you know? Sharon? Alexandra?
2.4 million.
Yes, yeah. So you're gonna use 2.4 million bottles, right? This is how much you're gonna use. And you are hoping your target is 75,000 at the ending inventory, okay? So then you set up this equation, exactly right? Just following the debit credit. So basically, this is the ending balance plus the sales minus beginning balance. So you need to purchase 2.45 million. Why? Because you're going to sell 2.4, okay? And then there are 50,000 actual units will increase your balance from 25 to 75. Okay, does this make sense? Okay, so I will count 1, 2, 3. Sum up. Okay. Do you have any questions on this? No? Okay, good. Okay, awesome. Okay, so far we have dealt with one account, right? Then we are able to figure out the result we want. Sometimes we need use two inventory accounts, okay? The finished goods inventory and the raw materials inventory together jointly to work out a solution, okay? So I'm going to show you the next question. That's our fourth question, okay? Now, this is the time we are also dealing with a project on the materials purchase, but we have to rely on prototypes, okay? So this is the question. In the preparation of sales project for the next 3 months period, the DEF company determined that 52,250 finished units would be needed to fulfill sales obligation. Okay, this is just another way to say the amount of sales is 52,250. Okay, the company has an inventory of 27,300 units of finished goods on hand on December 31st. So this would be your beginning inventory, right? So students will ask, what is December 31st? It should be always ending inventory, right? Not necessarily. If you keep reading, okay, and has a target finished goods inventory of 29,400 units at the end of the succeeding quarter, okay? So you can see January 1st, December 31st, this is the beginning, and then 3 months later, right? They are talking about the period of quarter, right? 3 months later, that's going to be the ending inventory, right? So you just have to read the question very carefully. You can't just assume whenever you see December 31st, that's going to be the ending inventory, okay? You just have to read into the question. It takes 3 liters of direct materials to make 1 unit of finished product, right? This is the point I emphasized, right? For finished goods inventory, it's 1 unit, right? Which product is this? This is, did he mention what product is this? No, so 1 unit, right? But for the materials inventory, what is the unit? Rin, what is the unit? How did they count it, the materials inventory?
The materials inventory is by liters.
Liters, right? Very good, by liters. And here we know that 3 liters of the liquid, that's the direct materials, is needed to make 1 unit of finished product, right? This is very important information. As you are reading the question, you maybe want to kind of highlight this information, right? Because you're gonna need that information. The company has an inventory 115,350 liters, right? So now you know this is talking about materials inventory, right? Because they are using liters, right? So don't confuse, right? Don't be confused. This is not finished goods, right? Just because the unit is liters of direct materials. And also the target inventory, okay? Target ending inventory. So the beginning is 117,350, and the ending is 110,000, okay? We know the opening and ending inventory for the materials, right? How many liters of direct materials should be ordered for delivery during the 3 months ending March 31st? Okay, so that's the question. Okay, so we know for the materials inventories, there are 4 variables, right? What are the 4 variables? Beginning inventory, right? Beginning balance, the amount of purchase, right? Ordered, right? The purchase order, and the usage, right? How much, how many liters has been used for production, right? And then the ending, right? There are 4 variables. So in this question, you only know 2, right? You only know 2, the beginning and the ending. You are not able to solve the purchase without knowing the consumption, right? Right, this is the 4 variables, 1 equation, and you only know 2 numbers. So you have to figure out in order to figure out what's the amount of purchase, you have to figure out what's the consumption, right? How many liters of direct materials has been used for production, right? Okay, so how are we going to know that number? Let's see. Sandeep, how can we know that number? The amount of consumption of the raw materials.
We'll take a guess. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sorry.
Not sure. Okay. Rain.
You are on the finished inventory, or do you want like the answer to the entire thing?
Yeah, that you already tell me the answer. Yes. So you're gonna work on finished goods inventory first.
On
So
finished goods. So the way I did it, I took sales minus the beginning finished inventory, and then I added the targeted ending inventory. And then I multiplied that number by 3, minused out the beginning direct materials, and then added the end target. So I got 54,350 for the finished goods and 155,700 for the direct material.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's correct. So you start with the finished goods inventory. You know the beginning balance, okay? And then you put a question mark. What is the amount of production? Okay. And then you know the sales. The sales is this information is given, and you know the target ending balance. Okay. So these 4 variables, okay, 3 are known. You just figured out the other unknown. Okay. So the amount of production we calculate is ending balance minus beginning balance plus sales, which is 54,350 units. Okay. So in order to achieve that ending balance of finished goods inventory, you have to produce 54,350 units. Okay. So where this comes from? Well, how much this production will consume the materials? Each unit will consume how many materials? To produce one, Alexandra, to produce 1 unit, how many liters do you need?
3.
3, right? And now we know the production level, that's 54,350. So now we know that consumption, okay, we are crediting to the inventory. So that should be the production level times 3. This is how many liters, right? This is the amount of liters required, okay, consumed to make this production. And this will decrease the raw materials inventory. And we know the ending is 110,000. Now you use the left T account, again, ending balance minus beginning balance plus the materials consumption, you figured out is 155,700. Is this clear?
Could you repeat it one more time, please, Professor?
Okay, yeah, I will. Just give me 1 second. So this is the question that you are not able to figure out the result using only 1 T account, only 1 inventory account. This is the situation. You need both inventory account to figure out the number. So first, you figured out the production level by using the finished goods inventory, okay? And then you would know in order to make this production, how many materials will be consumed, okay? Because that information is 3, right? 3 for 1, right? 3 liters for 1 unit. So that gives me this information. And then I know the beginning balance, I know the ending balance. I can work backward to figure out how much materials I need to purchase to order. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You charge you?
Yes, it makes sense. I just want to ask a question. It's about the quiz. I think when I did the quiz, I saw a similar question like this. And I think the opening inventory was 5,000, and the expected sales was 30,000, and the ending balance was meant to be 7,000. So, but when I did the question, I don't know if I did it wrongly. I couldn't find the answer, so I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah, you
or if
pay
it's-
attention to what the question is asking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't assume they are asking you for like something, right? They just pay attention to the wording of the question, what they are really looking for, right? Not the number in your mind, right? There are different numbers, right? But you have to be able to interpret the question and pay attention what the question is really asking you for, okay? And once you pay attention to that detail, you will be able to find the right answer. Yeah, I know which question you're talking about because one student sent me email about it. Yeah. Okay, so you are not the only one. Okay, so make sure that may be a tricky question. Just like sometimes you always think we are asking you for this number, right? Because you are assuming we always ask you for this number. Not necessarily, right? Okay. Okay, so you can see that this is how, right? You know, the project can be solved, right? The information. Okay, so let me take a look. Okay, if you are comfortable with me proceeding, please give me sum up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, very good. Okay, awesome. So now let's do a mini case, right? No, do a mini case. We're gonna use one case. We're gonna start from the beginning and then keep doing it, okay? We'll try to touch every part, okay? Let me first stop recording. So, because we are done with this 4 question, just give me 1 second. How come? Oh, here.